Welcome to the Red Flag Coaches Podcast. I'm Dr. T.
Hey, and I'm Lawrence Knighton, the other half of the Red Flag Coaches.
And today we want to talk about chemistry versus compatibility. Which is more important in building healthy relationships?
Let's talk about it.
All right, so here we are back with the podcast. You know how we like to give it to y'all. Real, raw, relevant, refreshing grown folks conversation. Because when you are young and you are not experienced, guess what happens? You get burnt by some of the red flags. And so in today's podcast, we simply want to talk about the importance of compatibility versus the feeling goodness of chemistry.
Let's talk about it.
That's what I call it, the feeling goodness of chemistry. So, how many of us remember when we were young? And why am I raising my hand already? You ain't raising your hand.
I'm not knowing what you're going to say.
How many of you remember when you were young, right? You saw this girl, you saw this guy. This was probably elementary or middle school. And you immediately said, that's going to be my boyfriend. That's going to be my girlfriend.
I didn't do that.
Wait, what?
I didn't do that.
Oh, my goodness.
No.
Really?
No.
Okay. He's not normal. But anyway, how many of you remember doing that in elementary school or middle school? And you walked around and you talked about, that's my boyfriend, that's my girlfriend, but you really couldn't even articulate what love was. It was something about them that drew you to them, right?
When I said that I didn't do that, I was saying I saw quite a few.
What?
But go ahead.
What?
I
Is that a
digress.
whole nother podcast?
I digress.
Okay, we're going to talk about that off the podcast because I think the inquiring minds want to know. But in today's episode, we're going to talk about how when you were little, chemistry kicked in.
Sure.
Right? But then as we got older, it should be more about what?
Compatibility.
Compatibility. All right, so here we go. Let's talk about the chemistry part of it, okay? Because people want to know, well, what draws you to a person? Because like you always say, men are hunters.
Right, for sure.
Right? And we've got to give you all something to look at in the beginning.
Exactly.
To draw you in.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's the chemistry part. So there are actually two hormones. In all honesty, there are two hormones. So let's talk about the chemistry part. Let me nerd out on you for a second. Two hormones. One is dopamine, one is oxytocin. So dopamine is actually the pleasure principle hormone. It's what makes us happy. It's our feel-good hormone, right? So then we have the oxytocin. The oxytocin hormone is the hormone that draws us in. It's the connecting hormone, right? So that's the hormone that when women are pregnant, they're able to give birth to their child. Actually, oxytocin is responsible for getting all of us here because if it wasn't for our mama's contractions, we wouldn't have been able to get here in the first place. Oxytocin is the hormone that helps moms to push, believe it or not.
Okay.
So oxytocin is the hormone that draws us in to build the connections with other people. Okay, it's our empathy hormone, it's our connecting hormone. So when we talk about the chemistry, there really is some chemistry that's involved in relationships.
Sure, exactly.
There's the dopamine part, there's the happiness hormone, and then there's the one that helps us to draw the connections. So when we're young and we all in elementary school and middle school and high school.
And college.
Okay, and college. Yeah. Well, by college, I'm hoping it's compatibility. Mm-hmm. So when we're young, it's really about the chemistry. It's really about the dopamine and the oxytocin. But as we get older, we should be more leaning a little bit more into the compatibility. So why is there this instant connection? And I'm gonna let you speak from a man perspective because you all are hunters. What is that you all are looking for in the chemistry part?
Well, I think, number one, when you start talking about chemistry is that attraction. Chemistry is that spark, that, oh, wow, she and I connect on a level. And really what that's all about is really all about just the external. It's all about what I see physically.
Right.
And so when you start talking about this chemistry, it's easy for people to mistake chemistry for love. Because they get so in tune, they're so connected, and it's like, wow, this has got to be the one. And not realizing that chemistry alone is not going to sustain a relationship.
Yeah.
It just won't do it.
Yeah, because chemistry fools you.
It definitely will fool you.
Right, because the dopamine and the oxytocin wear off after a while.
Exactly.
And so now you're left with, what do I do with this? What is the connection now? Because I was attracted to you physically. And the truth of the matter is, the physical attraction wears off.
No question.
Right.
And a lot of times people mistake that chemistry for love when all it is simply lust. Because that, you know, I can easily be attracted to someone and say, yeah, we got a lot in common. We like to go to the movies. We like to do this. We like to do that. That's just chemistry.
Right.
But compatibility goes a whole lot deeper than just that shallow surface level chemistry.
Right. So lust is really about sexual attraction.
For the most part, it is.
Right. And love is really about the deeper connection with another person.
Absolutely.
So lust will draw you in, but lust won't keep you.
It will not keep you.
Chemistry will draw you in, but chemistry won't keep you.
You know, and it's like my mind just went to my book again. That I love bringing this up because the song says it's called "Emotions in Disguise." It says, "In the beginning, it all started right, chemistry.
Right.
But as time went on, we started to fight.
Right.
Chemistry started to blow away like a leaf in the sky. Still, I didn't understand why, oh why.
Yeah.
It felt like love.
Felt like love.
It was how I wanted to feel. It smelled like love. Its fragrance was real. It looked like love. It even had love's eyes, but all it was emotions in disguise, chemistry."
Right. And emotions are simply energy in motion.
That's all it is.
So once the motion stops, once I no longer feel good with you, once I no longer feel attached to you, guess what? The chemistry now has worn
That's
off.
it. No question. Let's talk about it.
So the truth of the matter is, chemistry can blind you.
And a matter of fact, chemistry will lead you down a road you never thought you'd be on.
You sound like you know a little. Do tell. You sound like you know a little bit about
Oh,
that.
I know a little bit about some of everything.
Go ahead. We're listening.
Don't need to go deep no need to go deep with it. The bottom line is, chemistry will lead you down a road that you got to find the quickest U-turn and turn around.
Oh, come on now.
Yes.
You feel
Let's
like
keep talking.
You don't feel like confession today?
Okay, confession. Here is my confession. So here it is. Let's go Bible for a minute.
Okay.
Samson and Delilah,
That's right.
they had chemistry.
Exactly.
But that joker lost everything
He did.
behind chemistry.
He did.
Is it worth it? The
He
answer
did.
is no.
He did.
You better find compatibility and leave that chemistry alone.
That's right.
Now
That's
let's
a
keep
good
talking.
example.
Let's
That's a
keep
good
talking.
example. So when we talk about compatibility, though, right, which is the deeper connection.
No question.
Those are the things that we have the shared values. We have the emotional maturity attached to the relationship. And we also have relationship goals that we're able to build on when we're talking about compatibility. Those are the things that we're looking for that we can grow our relationship on. You can't grow a relationship on chemistry.
Right. You know, and the thing about it, when you start talking about the compatibility, you have to look at morals, beliefs, upbringing. All of those things play a key role
Right.
in the stability of a healthy relationship. Because if we don't have the same values,
Right.
even if we have chemistry, it's not going anywhere.
Right.
If we don't have the same morals, but we got chemistry, it's still not going anywhere. Because the truth of the matter is, you really need a connection of both chemistry and compatibility.
Right. Right.
Because the thing about it is, yes, compatibility can be enough, but chemistry can't. But you can have the two.
Yeah. There has to be a balance between the
Oh,
two.
no question. Absolutely.
Yeah. So chemistry opens the door.
But if you have all of the other elements that go along with compatibility, the beliefs, the morals, the spirituality, all of those things, you're in for a smooth ride.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome.
you're in for a smooth ride at that point because you got both.
Yeah.
You know, you look good, you fine as wine, whatever. And so now we think alike, we know how to communicate, we know how to, all those things go together.
Right. And so you take it from the chemistry, what initially attracts you to the person, right? And you build upon that to say, I see you, now let me get to know you.
Yeah, and the thing about it is most times in the beginning of a relationship, the chemistry is always there.
Yeah.
especially when you connect and you start going out, you know, you got that feel good dopamine going on now. Yo, man, this is it. I met the right one. And, you know, you hear people say that all the time. Yes, I think he's the one. I think she's the one. And what ends up happening, they start out like a knight in shining armor, but end up as a nightmare on Elm Street.
That part right there.
All because they allowed chemistry to take them down a road that they never thought they'd go down. It's like, wow, I just woke up from a dream. And the dream was you allowed chemistry to be the sole factor of making you think that this is a solid relationship.
Right. You ignored the red flags based on chemistry.
Oh, no question. It's so easy to ignore red flags when you're just dealing with chemistry.
Right.
How are we spiritually? How do you communicate? What's your love language? How do we communicate? How do you communicate? How do you handle conflict? Those are some real deep conversations that you have to get into.
Which
and most
build
people,
a compatibility.
Yeah, and most people don't get into the deeper questions in a relationship to know whether or not only are we compatible, but do we have chemistry?
Right. Because I believe this, that compatibility keeps you, but it's in that compatibility that the chemistry can come back, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, because even as we change, because, like we said before, I'm not the Tracy you met many years ago.
Yeah, because you're finer now.
Well,
yes.
You fixed that up real
I'm
good,
sorry.
honey.
I'm sorry. Come back, Lawrence. Come back.
So the chemistry stays, or we reconnect over and over and over again because of the compatibility.
For sure.
Right. And in the deeper conversations, in the get to know me more as a woman, because women change.
For sure.
That connection is always the exchange that goes back and forth between the two of us.
You know, just to put it in a truthful manner, if people would just learn to have the compatibility in place, then it makes it a lot easier for the other elements to fall in place.
Come on, say
So
that.
let me tell you.
Does that come with rewind?
Yeah, it
Can you
comes
say
with
that
rewind.
again? Okay.
Because most times in relationships, we look at chemistry first.
Yes.
But I think that you've got to shift your mindset to look at compatibility first. I don't care how fine she is. I don't care how fine he is, bruh, sis. I'm saying to you, if you don't have compatibility, you have absolutely nothing.
Right.
And so many people become engulfed in relationships based on that one thing, chemistry.
Yeah.
You know, they got a trophy woman, you know, that they want to go show off, but she has no substance. You got a muscular brother, good looking, tall, dark and handsome, but he has no substance.
Right.
So at the end of the day, you're in a relationship, but you have nothing.
Wow.
And it just makes it difficult.
Yeah. So when we talk about compatibility, being able to connect on such a deep level that the relationship continues to grow. Because a lot of people say, well, I just fell out of love with him, or I just fell out of love with her. And that's because the compatibility, the chemistry was there, but the compatibility was not sustained.
Right. And to add to what you're saying, when people say, well, we just outgrew each other, the truth of the matter is when you have that true compatibility, you're going to be growing together.
Come on now.
You're going to be growing together.
Say that one
that's
more
the
time.
thing that we don't really pay attention to.
Right.
Because if you're in a relationship and you're getting to know that person on a deeper level, then you're going to see if this person wants to grow or if they want to stay the same. How do you discover that? I'm glad you asked. Y'all are asking some good questions. So you figure that out by saying, okay, what do they do in their spare time? Are they readers? Are they watching podcasts? Are they reading their Bible?
Right.
Whatever it might be.
Right.
So if you find a person who's not doing any of that, and you're the person that loves to do all that, one person is going to outgrow the other one because you're looking at chemistry and not compatibility.
Yeah. Yeah. And the point of the relationship is to grow together. You don't get in a relationship just to break up.
Right.
You get in a relationship because you're hoping it's going to work. And
Right.
the only way it's going to work is if you're compatible.
There's no question.
Yeah. So, how to recognize compatibility early in dating? How do people do that?
I think that one of the easiest ways to recognize compatibility is to really number one, find out from yourself, what are you looking for?
What are you looking for?
Let me tell you what's so interesting. I'm learning this stuff day by day. Most people don't even know what they're looking for.
They don't even know what they want.
They say that. But truthfully, if you were to ask the average, what are you looking for in a relationship?
Right.
Well, I'm looking for a man who love. Listen, you can't even articulate it in a way
right.
that sells what you're saying.
Right. That sells you on what you're saying.
So how do you find out if a person is compatible when you don't know what you're looking for,
exactly.
and when you don't know who you are?
Exactly.
And this is another thing I always say: if you ask the average person, "Who are you?" Don't give me your job title.
Yep.
Tell me who you are.
Exactly.
Most people cannot articulate even who they are.
They struggle.
I'm
with
a child of God. I didn't ask you where you're a child of God. I'm asking you to tell me who you are as an individual.
Right.
What are your morals? What's your moral compass?
What are your beliefs?
What are your values? What are your beliefs?
Yeah. What are your goals and your aspirations?
Right.
Yeah.
Tell me who you are. Let's go. Keep going.
So number one, know yourself. To thine own self be true.
Yeah, you gotta
My
know
favorite
yourself.
quote. To thine own self be true.
Now, let me say this. I've been doing a lot of research lately, and especially when it comes to men, right?
Okay.
The thing about it is, men have grown up to be of age. I'll say it like that.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, very, very immature because of childhood trauma. So let me say it a different way. All of us have grown up with some type of dysfunction
Or trauma.
or some type of trauma.
Exactly.
The problem in our culture for years has been the mere fact that we have had this stigma in our community that says that if you go see a therapist, back then they said a psychologist because they ain't know no different.
Or a counselor.
All right, yeah. No, they ain't use counselor back in my day. They use a psychologist. And that automatically sort of symbolized you're crazy. And so we have to get past that, because if we don't get healing for our past hurts, I'm talking about men.
Okay.
If we don't get healing for those things that we were taught, such as big boys don't cry, if we don't get healing for those questions that were asked of us, what's your girlfriend's name? Then it went from how many girlfriends do you have? We're going to always be in a position where we're going from one relationship to the other.
Yeah.
So going back to your original thought as it relates to this whole piece about making sure we understand compatibility versus chemistry, we have got to be men enough to go get therapy and not feel as if that's some type of weakness. You've got to find someone who can challenge you to deal with the issues of your past, because if not, you're going to continue to go through relationships, and the truth of the matter is you're still going to be empty because you're dealing with things that are still holding you hostage.
Right. And the other part too is you're going to always stay stuck on chemistry because you're looking for somebody to make you feel a certain type of way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that void is not somebody else's responsibility to feel. That void is your responsibility to feel, FILL, so that when you get in a relationship with somebody else, you're not looking for a specific feeling, FEELING,
right,
to make you feel some type of way.
And this goes for women too. There's a lot of women that grew up without a father.
Yeah.
Right?
And we're
so a
looking
lot of
at
times
men.
women are looking for a father figure.
Absolutely.
There are a lot of men who grew up without a father, didn't have nobody to speak into their lives.
Yeah.
How can you be a father when you've never been fathered? Unless you go to the father.
Exactly.
And then even then you still need a therapist.
Yep, that part right there. You need Jesus, a therapist, and a coach.
Yeah, let me coach you fellas.
So we were talking about how to recognize compatibility early in relationships, in the dating scene. So we said, number one, pay attention to how they handle you, how you handle yourself, and how you handle the other person.
Right.
Here's the second one. Do they make you feel safe, respected, and at peace? So we talked about the feelings, but in relationships, when it's chemistry versus compatibility, am I in a relationship with you? And in that relationship, do I feel secure? Do I feel safe? Do I feel respected? And do I feel at peace? Or is it every time I come around you, I got to wonder which one of you I'm dealing with?
Yeah, and the thing about it is, can I just, I'm always going to be honest.
I don't think the people might not be ready for that.
There are so many people who are in marriages who are just as miserable can get.
Yeah.
They are absolutely roommates, if I can just say it like that.
Yeah. Some of them might not even be roommates.
And the reason that is because people go into marriages based upon chemistry.
Yeah.
No compatibility. After the love is gone, they start singing Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Yeah.
Because they thought it was love.
But it was lust.
It was lust and chemistry.
Right. And we've even coached couples when we're doing the intake part. We ask them to tell us their dating story. We ask them to tell us how they got together. And it's so amazing how many of them will say, well, we only dated 2 months, or we dated 3 months. And I'm going, the chemistry hadn't even worn off at that point. How you expect to build a relationship after even 2 or 3 months of dating? You don't even know each other.
Yeah, that's a whole nother conversation. We have to do a conversation on that, because it's so hurtful to see so many couples. And then when you get them in front of you in therapy, well, I love him. Wait. You love him and he's doing all this to you, or you love him and she's doing all this to you. Right. You have no respect for each other. You don't trust each other, but you call that love?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm confused.
There's a warped definition of what love looks like. Yeah. And here's the third one. Does your relationship flow naturally, or is it full of ups and downs? Well, we off again, on again. Yeah, we off again, on again. You know, they did this when we were on our off season. Wait a minute, there's an off season?
Yeah. There's a whole lot I really want to cover, but I can't cover it all in this conversation. So let me just say this. You have a lot of people who will say that marriage is tough, relationships are tough. I am just a firm believer, because I've been married before. I'm just a firm believer that relationships and marriages are tough because we're trying to navigate relationships from an unhealed position.
That's good.
An unhealed position.
It's like rowing a boat with only one oar.
Yeah.
Or rowing a yacht with trying to row a yacht and your motor's broken.
And so what you're dealing with is, let me say it like this. Relationships to me are very, very easy now because I'm healed. And when you're healed, it's easy to attract a person who's healed.
Yeah.
So even when you start talking about this, let me go back to this. We start talking about chemistry and compatibility. So with chemistry, right, you think about it. People generally attract who they are.
Right.
So you have people who connect through chemistry with trauma bonding.
Oh, yeah.
They experience trauma, so they bond
over that
based upon trauma.
Exactly.
And they think that that's a connection. Oh, we're just so compatible. Yeah. You're calling it compatibility, but it's chemistry.
You're trauma
because
bonding.
You're bonding based upon your trauma that both of you experience, and you can connect with each other. It's the sparks. Oh my gosh, they're just the one. No,
they get me.
Yes,
they only get your trauma.
Right. Don't get me to talking about this kind of stuff, because I can talk about this all day.
So here's the thing. Here are some self-reflection questions we want you to think about as you're thinking about chemistry versus compatibility. We've discussed that you do need both. It's the chemistry that draws you in, but it's the compatibility that allows you to build and grow the relationship. So here are some self-reflection questions you need to ask yourself. Here's the first one. Am I excited about that person, or just excited about the way they make me feel?
And that's a good question to reflect on, too.
Yeah. Am I excited about the person, or just the way they make me feel? Which ties into what you were talking about with that trauma bonding.
No question.
Yeah. Here's the second one. Can I see myself doing life with them beyond the fun and sex?
Well, I'm going to say this because I was thinking about this on the way over here to do this podcast.
Okay.
And I said chemistry will get you to the mattress, but compatibility will get you to marriage.
Hold up, time out. Come back. Chemistry will get you to the mattress.
But compatibility, it'll probably get you to marriage.
Come on now. Can I drop the mic? Can we
Drop the mic?
Are we done? Are we done with the podcast? I love it. Here's the last question. When the sparks fade and when the sex is no longer toe curling, will there be love, respect, honesty, and shared goals between the two of you?
And, the truth of the matter is that's a question that you really, really want to dig into.
Yeah.
Because, the truth of the matter is as you get older,
yeah,
figure 8 for most people are going to turn into figure O.
Figure O. Some of us it will.
Like, man, okay. But anyway.
But it's the compatibility that keeps
it strong, keeps the relationship strong.
Yeah.
Being able to still have conversations,
right.
Being able to still have the same morals, values, beliefs, being able to still win at life even when things.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's the compatibility that keeps you moving towards the mountaintop when you find yourself in a valley. And you could be in a valley of poor health or a valley of sickness or a valley of the death of of a loved one. There are many valleys that happen in our lives where if I'm in the valley, it's our compatibility that helps you help me come out of the valley.
Exactly.
Right? It's not chemistry that does that.
Right.
Right. So there are times when we look at the chemistry to say, oh, okay, I'm interested in that person, but it's the compatibility that helps sustain the relationship. So here's some practical tips for dating with chemistry
Let's get it.
and compatibility. Slow down, give yourself time for compatibility to show up.
Yeah, and I said this at the beginning, that literally you do not want to rush through a relationship or to a relationship thinking that the chemistry is what's going to keep it alive.
Right.
Too many people, run into that. They see a nice-looking guy, nice-looking girl. She's fine. He's fine. Oh, man, sparks flying.
Right.
The attraction is there. It's like, wow, yes, this is it.
Yep.
But again, at the end of the day, whew.
Slow down.
Okay.
That's the first one. Here's the second one, date with intention. We always say that. Date with intention, date for data. Don't just chase the feeling, chase the compatibility. You want to know that there is a connection beyond the bedroom.
Exactly. You got to have that.
Yeah. And then here's the last one, trust your intuition. Your intuition never lies.
I tell people this all the time. God gave women a sixth sense.
That's right. He did. He loved us so much, he did that.
He did that now. And most times, women ignore the sixth sense.
That we do.
And then try to figure out why they're dealing with penny relationships.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm done.
So here we are at the end. We hope you have enjoyed this podcast episode on chemistry and compatibility. We hope that, number one, you take your relationships slow. Stop being so fast, like my grandma used to say.
Take it slow.
Yeah.
Oh. This time we'll take it slow. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Stop being so fast.
Stop being so fast.
Take it slow.
Take it slow.
The second thing, to thine own self be true. Be honest with yourself. Don't go into a relationship thinking that chemistry is all that you need. You need chemistry and compatibility. And give yourself time to recognize those red flags, because chemistry will have you blind to the red flags.
Absolutely.
That's it. And here's the third one, the last tip we want to leave you with. Remember this, chemistry versus compatibility. Here's tip number 3, trust your intuition.
And I said this, and I want to keep saying it. God literally gave women a sixth sense. And he gave them that sixth sense so that in case the 5 that they had, they overlooked, he's going to add one more so that they don't ignore it.
That's it.
So here's the moral of that story. Ladies, when you sense that your sixth sense is telling you this is not good, this don't feel right, Don't ignore it, because you're ignoring a red flag that's going to come back to bite you. And just know that God gave you a sixth sense for a reason.
That's it. So we hope you enjoyed this podcast of chemistry versus compatibility. Do not settle for the chemistry alone. Don't settle for the sparks. Don't settle for the feeling. Listen, take it slow. Remember, chemistry will get you started, but compatibility is what it will take to make the relationship last.
So listen, I need you to follow us on our YouTube page, The Red Flag Coach. I need you to go to our Facebook page, our TikTok. I need you to follow us on all social platforms, the IG page. A lot of information, a lot of videos, but I also need you to purchase one of my books. One book is titled If It's Love, It Will Last. Phenomenal book on building good, solid relationships. The other book, ladies, this is for you. It's called He's Not Your Man,
That
It's
book
Just
right
Your Turn.
there.
He's Not Your Man, It's Just Your Turn.
Yeah.
Navigating the roller coaster of relationships.
That's it.
I want you to go to the website, theredflagcoach.com, pick up your book. We have some other merchandise on there, and we would love to have your support. Thank you already for your support. Please go to our YouTube page and subscribe to the YouTube page. We have a lot of great things coming up.
Leave your comments on the YouTube page.
Leave
too.
your comments.
Leave your comments on the YouTube page.
We appreciate y'all so very, very much, and we'll look to see you in the next episode.